So these are all your, yeah, these are all your supported files. Okay, so this MSI files and MSP files, sometimes if any interviewer asks while installing SQL, so did you get any errors, then you can simply say I just got MSI MSP missing errors. So how to fix that MSI MSP missing errors? Those MSI files, see, I'll show you. Please mute. Okay, please mute. If there is no question to ask, just mute it, otherwise it will record and you will feel disturbance in the recordings. Okay, MSI dot MSI singular. Right. Okay, so if you see here, it will clearly shows you in the error itself. Like this, you will get error. SQL Server setup has encountered an error in the following error. Okay, so what is that error? Sorry, let me share my screen again. Right. So the cached MSA file C Windows installer 4313 fdfcf.msi is missing. So it will clearly tell you which MSI file is missing. So the location also it will tell you C Windows installer 4313 fcf.msi is missing. Its original file is SQL underscore rs.msi. Okay, so it will tell you what is the original file name of that particular MSI file, and where you can find that MSI file also it will tell you. It was installed for product SQL Server 2008 R2 SP1 reporting services from this location. Okay, so simply if I want to say in the error, whenever you are getting a MSI MSP error, so in that particular error, it will clearly tell you what is which MSI file is missing. Okay, which MSI file is missing, and from which location you can get that particular MSI file. So now what I did usually while installing the SQL Server, I have attached the C drive, right? Here what I did, if you open my computer, I just while installing the SQL Server in the previous class, what I did, I just attached the media SQL Server 2005 media. I have attached, right? So all the MSI files will be there in that particular software. Media means software. Okay. So all your MSI files and MSP files will be there in that software, SQL Server software. Okay. So what you will do, simply attach or else copy the SQL Server software. It will tell you from which location you can get that file. Go to that particular location and copy that missing MSI file and just paste it in the respective location. It will only clearly tell you in which location you have to paste it. Or else if it is one file or two files, you can do like that. If it is multiple files, okay, if multiple sometimes 20 30 MSA files will be missing. In that case, Microsoft last year or before last year in 2018, I guess, okay, Microsoft introduced one small tool called fixing MSA MSP. The tool name is fixing MSI MSP. Just type that fixing MSI MSP in the Google. You will get a link from the Microsoft website. There you can find one small tool, 2 MB or 3 MB tool will be there. Just install that tool. Okay, open that tool. Just click on that. There you can find scan, like how you are scanning by using the antivirus. There will be one button called scan button. Click on that scan button. It will only scan all the missing MSI MSPs before installation, and once it was scanned completely, there will be one button called fix it. Fix all button will be there. Just click on the fix all button. Once you just click on that fix all button, it will automatically fix all the MSI MSP missing errors. Okay, so this is how we have to fix the MSI MSP missing errors. Just explain like this. Microsoft introduced one tool called fixing MSI MSP. Once we install the tool, we can fix all the MSI missing MSI MSP errors in one shot like that. Once we just explain, they will get an idea. So this is how we have to fix the installation errors. Mostly you will get sometimes you will get permission errors. Permission errors we can fix it. If you don't have permissions to install, okay, you can fix it. And remember one thing, you cannot install SQL Server on a map drives. Okay, you cannot install SQL Server on a mapped drives. Mapped drives, you know, right? We are going to, sometimes we will map the drives, mapped drives, and we cannot install SQL Server on compressed drives, okay, and you
Maple
cannot
drive.
install SQL Server on read-only drives, okay, read-only drives, and you cannot install SQL Server on flash drives, your pen drive, okay, your pen drive and your hard disks. You cannot install your SQL Server on all these drives. So sometimes if you are getting errors, maybe you may get permission errors or this kind of map drives errors. So just check it, and other than these errors, you will get a MSA MSP missing errors. So these are all the errors you will get while installing the SQL Server. Clear? Any issues, any doubts as of now?
Maple drive in the sense network drive. Hello?
Net, sorry, Kadia?
Maple drive. Maple drive in the sense
Yes, yes, network drive only, network drive only. Mapper drives are network drives. Okay, network drives, you know, right? Network drives. Network drives means what? In the organization, we'll have a shared path. Okay, in the shared path, we are going to call it as a network drive. So in that drive locations also, we cannot install any of the SQL Server or SQL Server files. Clear? Any issues? Any doubts? Right. Okay. So we can see the MSA MSP in the C program files binaries. Okay, if you go and check the location of each file, usually you can see in this location. Okay, so let me close this. So just go to this file, go to the properties. There you can see the location, which location. Okay, this file is there. See here 110. Microsoft SQL Server 110. 110 is the binary. Okay, I have a SQL Server here. I have installed two SQL servers, C program files, Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, and here these are the locations, okay, binaries. If you go and check here 100, just type .msi, there you can see MSI files. Okay, these are all your MSI files. These are all your .msi files. Okay, like that you can check the MSP files also. You can see different kinds of MSP files. Okay, so usually whenever you install SQL Server for the first time, you will get MSI files. Most of the files are MSI files. Once you just patch the SQL Server, those MSI files will be converted into MSP files. Okay, so sometimes in the interviews they will ask this question. Okay, so when you will get MSP files like that, they will ask. Once you patch the SQL Server, most of the MSA files will be, okay, converted into MSP files. So overwritten. Those MSA files will be overwritten into MSP files. Right. So this is all about your files .ll, .rll, .dll, and .msa files, .msp files. These are all the different kinds of files. Okay. Just 1 minute. 1 minute. Right. Okay. So this is all about your supported files. Right. So once you install the SQL Server, you will get services also. What kind of services you will get? How many services you will get? Where I can see those services. Okay. So just go to services.msc. Just go to run. Okay, services.msc. Once you install the SQL Server, usually you will get 6 services. Okay, we are discussing about SQL Server 2005. In SQL Server 2005, it is somewhat different. From SQL Server 2008 onwards, the same concept will be applied. Okay, whenever you install a SQL Server, usually you will get 6 services. What are the 6 services? Where I can see those services? Go to services.msc. Okay, once you just type this services.msc, you will get this window. Select any service, just hit yes button. Yes, you can see the services starting with yes. Okay, so expand this column. There you can see services with yes. Okay, see here, SQL Server. SQL Server in the brackets MS SQL Server. This is very important service. This is the main service, database engine service. Okay, if this service is not running, as of now it is started, it is running. Started means running. If this service is not running, you cannot connect to the SQL Server. If this SQL Server service is not running, you cannot connect to the SQL Server. This is the very important service. SQL Server, what you can see, how to find that one, just you can find only SQL Server. In the brackets you can find the instance name. In the brackets you can find instance name. Why it is showing MS SQL Server?
By default, it will take computer name.
Sorry, it is a computer
By
name, huh?
default,
It's
it
a,
will take
it's a default.
It's a default instance. Okay, for default instance we have already discussed. For default instance, all the services, okay, all the services you can see with the name of MS SQL Server. While connecting only you have to give the computer name. Okay, you cannot give MS SQL Server while connecting to the default instance. You have to give the instance name, which is a computer name. For default instance, the instance name is computer name. So while connecting to the instance, then only you have to give the computer name. In other locations, in services, in configuration manager, in all other locations, you can see default instance name as MS SQL Server. So whenever you see MS SQL Server in the brackets, that means it belongs to, this service belongs to default instance main service. Okay, SQL Server, MS SQL Server. If you have multiple instances, I'll show you my local instances. Okay, I have my local instances. Let me show you my local instances, services.msc. I have two instances in my local machine. One is SQL Server default instance, another one is named instance. Okay, so if you simply expand here, see here, this is a default instance main service, and this is named instance main service. In the brackets you can see the instance name raw 2k12. Okay, so this is a named instance main service, and this is a default instance main service. If you can see MS SQL Server, that is a default instance. If you can see any other name, that is a named instance. Okay, these two services belongs to, one belongs to a default instance main service, another one belongs to named instance main service. Okay, if it is a main service, you can only see SQL Server. If it is a different service, you can see SQL Server Agent, SQL Server Browser, SQL Server VSS Writer, SQL Server Full Text Search. Okay, like this you can see different names. But if it is main service, you can see only SQL Server. In the brackets, you can see a name of the instance. Okay, here also, as of now, I have installed only default instance, right? So that's why I can see SQL Server. In the brackets, I can see default instance. Okay, this is one service, and SQL Server Active Directory Helper is the second service, and SQL Server Agent is the third service, and SQL Server Browser is the fourth service, and SQL Server Full Text Search is the fifth service, and SQL Server VSS Writer is the sixth service. So whenever you install one instance, remember, whenever you install only one instance, you will get six services. In these six services, three are shared services and three are specific services. In these six services, three are shared services and three are specific services. So what is the difference between shared services and the specific services? Shared services you will get only one time. Specific services, how many instances you are installing, every time you will get three different services. Shared services you will get only one time. For the whole machine, you will get only three shared services. For the whole machine, how many instances you are installing. For the first time, if you install SQL Server for the first time itself, you will get three shared services. Okay, what are those shared services? VSS Writer is one shared service. SQL Server Browser is one shared services. Active Directory Helper is one shared service. I don't know how to identify which one is shared service, which one is okay, specific service. There is a shortcut. Can anyone tell me what is the shortcut? This is my shared service. This is my shared service. Sorry, browser is my shared services and VSS writer is the shared service. There is a difference between this and this. What is the difference? How to identify the difference between this and this? Just can anyone try the difference between this service and this service?
Shared service didn't have a bracket.
Very good, excellent, excellent. So shared services means those are all shared services. Okay, so if you are staying in a hostel, usually we all stayed in a hostel, right? So if you are staying in a hostel, you will have a name on your plate, you will have a name on your belongings, but you doesn't have any name on the bathroom bucket, right? Why? Because those are all shared. So here also, shared services, you don't find any name in the brackets. For the specific services only, you can see the name in the brackets. Okay, so that means why we have name in the brackets? Why? Because there is a chance of another three specific services. So this specific services belongs to this instance, those specific services belongs to that instance. That's why name is there on that particular service. So those who are having, those which services are having names in the bracket, those are all specific services. Those services doesn't have name in the brackets, those are all shared services. So I have a question. If I have installed three instances in my machine, total how many services I'll get?
12.
12 services I'll get. Okay, 3 into 3,
12.
9 services, plus 3 more shared services. 9 plus 3, 12 services I'll get. Okay, so what is the shortcut? Three specific services. If I have 5 instances in my machine, 5 into 3, 15. Apart from 15, 3 more extra shared services. 18 services you will get. Okay, so whenever you install a SQL server in the machine, usually you will get 3 shared services and you will get 3 specific services. Okay, how to identify the difference between shared services and specific services? Shared services doesn't have name in the brackets. Specific services will have name in the brackets to identify which instance it belongs to. Right? So clear? Any issues? Just let me know if you have any issues. Okay, otherwise I'll proceed. Okay, fine. Okay, so these are all my shared services and specific services. So what are the shared services? Usually main service is the specific service. Okay, and agent service is one specific service and full text service is another specific service. Okay, browser, SQL server, full text, sorry, where is that? Yeah, active directory helper, SQL server, browser, and VSS writer. These three are shared services, right? Let me close this one. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What is the help of Active Directory?
Active
SQL Server.
Directory. These are all supported services, Madhu. Okay, Active Directory.
Okay,
These are,
okay.
yeah, Active Directory. Browser. I'll tell you. If you enable the browser, that instance name will be visible in the network. Okay, so by using that browser, if the browser service is up and running, you can connect to the instance from any server. Okay,
Okay.
so security wise it is not good. That's why usually only browser service will be turned off in all these 5 services. Okay, only browser, even though if you go to organization also, most of the companies will turn off the browser. Why? Because if you turn
Okay.
on the browser, you can connect to that instance from any server. So security wise, it is not good. If anyone hacks that particular instance, that will be a problem, right? So usually all services will be up and running, but only browser service will not run. It will be in stopped mode. Okay, don't think like if browser is not running, your SQL server will not work. Okay, browser service should be turned off. If it is turned on,
Okay.
security wise there will be some issues. Some people, what they will do, they will have some jump servers. Okay, so they will turn on all the SQL server browser services in all the instances so that they can connect. It's not a crime, it's not a mistake, you can turn on if you want, but security wise it's not a good option to run that particular browser service.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so right. Okay, let me start discussing management studio. Okay, we'll start discussing management studio. So what is the management studio? What is the use of the management studio? We'll discuss in today's class. Okay, right. Management studio, we have already started the discussion. Management studio is a tool to connect to the SQL server. Okay, management studio is the tool to connect to the SQL server. If management studio closed also, not an issue. Why? Because we are going to connect to the instance, we are going to run the queries by using the management studio. Okay, if our work is completed, we are going to close the management studio. So management studio is just a platform to write our queries, to run our queries, to connect to the instances. If we close the management studio, in the background our SQL server services will be up and running, and it should be up and running. Okay, if your services are down, the application cannot connect to the database, so that application will be down, so no one can access that websites and all. So that is the problem. So SQL server should be up and running 24 by 7 by 365 days. But your management studio is just a tool. You can connect whenever you have a work, you can open the management studio, you can connect to the running instances. By using management studio, you can only connect to the running instances. If the instance is not running, instance means what? One SQL server is called one instance. Okay, so if the SQL server is not running, if the SQL server is stopped, you cannot connect to that SQL server in the management studio. Again, you have to start the SQL server, then only you can connect to the management. You can connect in the management studio. So how to open management studio? Where I'll get this management studio? Whenever till up to SQL server 2016, this management studio you are going to get with the help of software only. So SQL server software, we are going to install SQL server, right? Inbuilt, you are going to get this management studio in the SQL server software only till SQL server 2016. From SQL server 2017 onwards, Microsoft divided, removed that particular management studio from the software, and it was given a separate file. Management studio is a separate file from SQL Server 2017 onwards. So from SQL Server 2017 onwards, once you completed the installation of the SQL Server, again you have to install management studio also. Installing management studio is not at all a big difficult task. Simply you will open the setup file, right click, run as administrator, next, install. That's it, nothing, no option to select. Okay, like how you are installing a antivirus, how you are installing a small tools, like that only. A separate management studio file will be there from SQL Server 2017 onwards. SQL Server 2017, SQL Server 2019. Okay, you can find a separate management studio setup file. Just open that setup file, just install that setup file. So by using that management studio, you can connect to the instances. Okay, so like this you are going to get the management studio. Up to SQL Server 2016, no need to install separately. Whenever you install SQL Server, automatically you will get that particular management studio, right? So how to open management studio? There are 2 to 3 ways. Okay, so the shortcut is for SQL Server 2005. Remember one thing, for SQL Server 2005, the shortcuts are different. From SQL Server 2008 onwards till 2019, shortcuts are different. Only for SQL Server 2005 shortcut is different. Okay, so just open start, just open run, or else Windows R. If you just type Windows R, you will get run. Okay, here just type SQLWB for 2005. If you want to open management studio of 2000, remember one thing, sometimes you are going to put I worked on SQL Server 2000 version also. Okay, I have an experience on 2000 also, like that you are going to put in your resume. So in that case, they will ask how to connect to the SQL Server 2000 instance. Why? Because there is no management studio in SQL Server 2000. Management studio is introduced from SQL Server 2005 onwards. So how to connect a 2000 SQL Server 2000 instance? They will ask. Okay, by using query analyzer. Okay, by using query analyzer, we are going to connect to the SQL Server 2000 instances. Okay, right. So what is the shortcut for opening 2005 Management Studio? SQLWB, or else I can't remember all these shortcuts. Okay, I want long cut. In that case, go to all programs, go to, there will be one folder created, Microsoft SQL Server 2005. If you install 2008 folder will be created. Just expand this one, click on this one. You can see Management Studio. Okay, just click on this one. Either of this you can do. Okay, either SQL WB, SQL WB means SQL web browser. Okay, or else your Management Studio. Go to the all programs and there you can find the folder. Just expand that folder. There you can find the Management Studio. Remember one thing, Management Studio, by using this Management Studio, say for example, if it is a 2005 Management Studio, I can only connect my 2005 instances. I cannot connect my 2008 8R2 or else 2000 instances. Is it? No. Okay. So by using 2005 Management Studio, you can connect to all the instances, all versions of instances. If you have a Management Studio, you can connect to the lower versions of the instances as well as you can connect to the higher versions of instances also. There is nothing like by using 2005 Management Studio, I can only connect to 2005 instances. 2008 Management Studio, I can connect to only 2008 instances. Nothing like that. By using 2005 Management Studio, as of now we are having 2005, right? You can connect to 2000 instance. If any 2000 server is there, you can connect to 2000 instance also. Okay, by using 2005 Management Studio, higher version also you can connect to you can connect to 2008 instance, you can connect to 2008 R2, you can connect to 2012 instance. But again there will be a logic. Okay, lower version no issues. Okay, you can connect 2000 instance in 2005 Management Studio, you can connect to 2005 instance in 2008 Management Studio. Lower version, if your SQL Server is a lower version, if your Management Studio is higher version, there is no issue. Okay, if your SQL Server instance is lower version, if your Management Studio is higher version, there is no issue. But if your SQL Server Management Studio is lower version and the instance is higher version, say for example you have 2005 Management Studio and you are going to connect to 2012 instance, in that case there will be an issue. Can anyone tell what is that issue? Okay, so the new version features cannot be found in the old version of Management Studio. New version features cannot be found in the old version of Management Studio. I'll show you the example. Okay, this is my 2008 R2 Management Studio, this is my 2012 Management Studio. Okay, let me check whether both instances are running or not. Yeah, both instances are running. So what I'll do now, I will open 2008 R2 instance. Okay, this is my 2008 R2. You can see here 2008 R2. Okay, here also you can see 2008 R2 Management Studio. This is my default instance, which is 2008 R2 only. So I can easily connect my 2008 R2 machine. Okay, now I am trying to connect 2012 instance. Okay, what is the 2012 instance name? This is my 2012 instance. Okay, just click on connect. I can connect. Okay, I will not get any issues, right? This is my 2012. You can see here 11.0 means 2012, 10.50 means 2008 R2, right? Now let me open 2012 Management Studio. Clearly observe what is the issue. Okay, okay, this is my 2012 Management Studio, right? You can see here SQL Server 2012. Okay, just connect, right? So just drag. Okay, now this is the this instance raw 2k12, this instance raw 2k12, both are same, but what is the difference? Can anyone tell me?
Always on availability.
Sorry.
Always on availability.
Yes, very good. Always on high availability is a feature of 2012. Okay, always on high availability is a feature of 2012. Up to 2008 R2, always on high availability is not there. But when you connected this route 2K12 in 2008 R2, you cannot see always on high availability. Okay, but here you can connect. This is my 2012 management studio, right? Just click on connect. This is the connect button. Okay, this is the connect button. This is disconnect button. You can disconnect the instance. And if you connect your 2008 R2 instance, no problem, it's fine. You can get all the folders, no issues will be there. Okay, so whenever you are connecting your lower version of instances in the higher version of management studio, there will be no issue. If your management studio is lower version and if you are trying to connect to the higher version of the instances, means if your management studio is 2008 R2 and you are trying to connect to the 2012 instance, in that case the 2012 features you cannot find in the 2008 R2 management studio. Okay, so while connecting also sometimes you will have multiple instances in the box. Okay, if you simply type SSMS, the shortcut is SSMS from 2008 R2 onwards. From 2008, yeah, from SQL Server 2008 onwards, if you want to open Management Studio, the shortcut is SSMS. For SQL Server 2005, the shortcut is SQLWB. If you simply type SSMS, there will be one default SSMS will be open. Don't know whether it is 8 R2 or else 12. So make sure in which Management Studio you are connecting to the instance. Okay, where I can see which kind of management studio, simply you can find here. While connecting, you can find here 2008 R2. If you are connecting 2008 R2 or to the lower versions of 2008 R2 like 2000, 2005, 2008, it's fine. If you're trying to connect to the 2012 instance, then that 2012 features will not be visible in the 2008 R2 management studio. Clear? Any issues, any doubts?
Hello.
Yeah.
You install multiple versions in one server.
Yes.
One.
I have installed multiple instances in one machine. I can
Not
install
instance.
50 instances. I can install 50 instances in one machine.
Sorry, sir. Not instances. I mean, 2008, 2012, these
Yes,
versions
yes.
in one system.
Yeah, I can install 2000 different kinds of versions. I can install in a single box. I can install from SQL Server 2000 onwards up to SQL Server 2012 or 2014. Depends upon your OS level. Okay. If your OS operating system is going to support 2012 up to 2012, I can install all versions in a same machine.
I think previously said like only one SQL server you can install in your machine.
No. Ravi, did I told like that? Only one SQL Server version we can install in one machine. Srinivas?
No,
No,
no.
no.
So there is nothing like that. Only one version of the SQL Server we can install. Nothing like that. Okay. Any version we have that rule, right? -7 years to +7 years. In that range, you can install any version of the SQL Server in the machine. Okay. It depends upon your OS version. Say for example, I have Windows Server 2008 R2. In that Windows Server 2008 R2, I can install up to SQL Server 2014. Okay, means SQL. What is the 2008 R2 -7 to +7? 2008 R2 means -7 means 2001, and the +7 means 2000. How much? 2015. 2008 +7, 2015. In this range, what are the SQL Server versions are there? 2001 to 2015. What are the versions are there? 2005 is there, 2008 is there, 2008 R2 is there, 2012 is there, 2014 is there. All these 5 versions of the SQL Server I can install on the Windows Server 2008 R2 machine. Okay, there is nothing like only one version of the SQL Server I can install in the Windows machine. You can install multiple versions of the SQL Server. Clear? Yeah. Any other doubts? Okay, fine. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll stop the. Oh, sorry. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll stop the session for today. Okay. Tomorrow again same time we are going to connect. Why? Because I cannot put more stress on my throat. I'm already getting throat pain, but it's not good to extend more than already we have skipped 3 weeks, right? So that's why even though I'm not feeling well, we are just taking the classes. Okay, so slowly we are going to increase the time. Okay, today we are discussed almost all 1 hour 10 minutes, I guess. Okay, so tomorrow also we'll discuss 1 hour, 1.5 hour, like that we'll discuss. Okay, until I'm completely okay recovered from this corona, then I'll take the classes for 2.5 hours. Okay, right? But don't worry, I'll take extra classes from the next week. Mostly Saturday I'll take the extra class. Okay, weekly I'll try to take 3 classes, right? So I'll stop the classes for today, and tomorrow same time 7:30 we are going to connect, right? Okay. Okay, if you have any issues, just ping me in the WhatsApp. Okay, thank you all. I'm going to send all these recordings in tomorrow's session. After tomorrow's session is over, I'm going to send these recordings. Okay, so any issues, Madhu, Ravi, Srinivas, Kadiyam?
No, no, sir. Thank you.
Okay,
No,
thank you
sir.
so much. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, man. Thank you, bye.